Have you ever felt weighed down by negative thoughts? Maybe you woke up feeling anxious or overwhelmed, and no matter what you did, it seemed impossible to shake off that heavy feeling. Does it feel like negative energy constantly lurks in your mind, disrupting your peace? Why does it feel so challenging to free yourself from this mental clutter? Imagine this. You're walking through a beautiful park, the sun is shining, and everything feels calm. But suddenly, a dark cloud blocks the sun, making everything feel cold and uncertain. This is how negative energy works in your mind. It clouds your clarity, your happiness, and your peace. But what if there was a way to clear the skies, to let the light shine through once again? Can you truly remove the negativity that holds you back from experiencing joy and calm? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a space dedicated to unlocking the power within you. In today's video, we're going to explore simple, yet profound, Buddhist teachings that can help you remove the negative energy from your mind. These practices have helped millions around the world find peace, and they can help you too. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. So please, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. This helps us grow and reach more people, just like you, who are ready to transform their minds and lives. In this video, we're going to dive deep into practical tips, ancient wisdom, and everyday actions you can take to clear your mind of negativity. It's time to let go of the mental clutter that's been holding you back. Stay with us till the end and learn how you can create a peaceful, positive mind. Starting right now, understanding the roots of negative energy. To understand how to remove negative energy from your mind, we must first ask, what is the source of this negativity? Why does it seem to appear so easily, almost without invitation? Negative energy in the mind is not something that comes from the outside world, but from within. It arises from how we see the world, how we interpret our experiences, and how we react to what happens around us. At the root of negative energy are our attachments, our desires, and our fears. These are the deep-seated patterns that shape how we think and feel. The Buddha teaches that suffering arises from craving, from wanting things to be different than they are. When we hold on to something too tightly, whether it's a person, an outcome, or a belief, we create tension in our minds. This tension gives birth to negative emotions like anger, jealousy, and frustration. We cannot be at peace when we are so tightly bound by our desires. Think of a rope. If you pull it too tightly, it starts to fray and weaken. Our minds are like that rope. The tighter we hold onto our wants, the more fragile our mental peace becomes. Every desire, whether big or small, creates a ripple of stress in the mind. The more we try to control the world around us, the more chaotic it feels. Negative energy thrives on control, on the illusion that we can shape everything to our liking. But where do these desires and attachments come from? They are born from our perception of the world. When we experience something pleasant, we crave more of it. When we experience something painful, we try to avoid it. This constant cycle of craving and aversion is the root of much of our suffering and negative energy. The Buddha called this the cycle of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, suffering, death, and rebirth, fueled by our attachments. When we react to the world with clinging or resistance, we build up negative energy. The more we cling to pleasure, the more we resist pain, the more we reinforce these mental habits. It's like trying to fill a cup that's already full. No matter how much you pour in, there's no room for it to stay. To truly remove negative energy from your mind, you must first recognize these patterns. Start by observing your thoughts and reactions without judgment. Notice when you feel attached to something, or when you feel aversion towards something. Maybe it's an argument with someone close to you, a job you don't like, or the fear of something bad happening. These are the moments when negative energy is born, when your mind clings to something that it wants or resists something it doesn't want. The first step in clearing this negativity is to understand it fully. Once you understand the roots, you can begin to pull them out. The Buddha spoke of right view as the foundation of wisdom. This means seeing things as they truly are, not how we want them to be or how we fear they might turn out. It's about accepting that everything is impermanent, including our desires and aversions. The more we try to hold on to things, the more we suffer. The more we try to avoid discomfort, the more we increase our mental strain. Imagine a tree that tries to hold onto every leaf, even as the wind blows them away. No matter how tightly it grips, the leaves will fall. This is how our attachments work. We may try to hold on to them, but nothing lasts forever. We must learn to let go. The more we cling, the more we build up negative energy. Letting go is not about rejection, it's about acceptance. When you let go of the need to control, you open yourself to peace. Buddhist teachings offer many methods for cutting through these attachments. One of the most powerful is mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and feelings without becoming entangled in them. It helps us see where our attachments lie. When you notice a negative thought arising, pause and observe it. Where is it coming from? Is it rooted in fear, desire, or judgment? When you understand the source of the thought, you can let it go. When we hold on to the illusion of control, we tighten the grip of negative energy. In contrast, when we learn to accept things as they are, without judgment, we free ourselves from this burden. Negative energy is born from a mind that is not at peace with the present moment. It is only in the present that we can find freedom from this cycle. When we live fully in the now, we stop worrying about the future or regretting the past, and we create space for peace and clarity. Another aspect of our attachment is our identification with our thoughts. Often, we believe that we are our thoughts. If a negative thought arises, we take it personally, as if it defines who we are. But this is a misunderstanding. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. They come and go, but they don't change the sky. When you detach from your thoughts, you can observe them without being consumed by them. Negative thoughts are simply passing clouds. They have no power over you unless you give them power. The roots of negative energy also lie in our expectations. We have expectations of ourselves, others, and life. These expectations often lead to disappointment when reality does not meet them. When we expect life to go a certain way and it doesn't, we feel frustration, resentment, or anger. This is why it's important to release rigid expectations. Life is fluid, ever-changing, and unpredictable. To find peace, we must stop expecting everything to go according to our plan. Instead, we must embrace the flow of life, accepting what comes without clinging to it or pushing it away. This is where the Buddhist practice of equanimity comes in. Equanimity is the ability to remain balanced and undisturbed, no matter what arises. It's the ability to experience life's ups and downs without being thrown off course. When you cultivate equanimity, you begin to see that negative energy is simply a reaction to your attachments and expectations. When you release those, the energy begins to dissipate. To break free from the roots of negativity, you must be willing to change how you see the world and how you interact with it. This is not an overnight transformation, but a gradual process. With each moment of mindfulness, with each act of letting go, you begin to uproot the seeds of negativity that have taken root in your mind. It is not about forcing yourself to think positively, but about letting go of the negative patterns that bind you. So, take a deep breath and begin to notice. Notice when your mind begins to attach to something, when it wants or fears. Notice when it reacts. And instead of engaging, simply observe. The more you do this, the less power those negative thoughts will have over you. And soon, you'll find that the roots of negativity are no longer so deeply entrenched. They will begin to loosen, and you will be free to experience life as it is, without the burden of attachment. The role of mindfulness in cleansing negativity. Let us begin with a simple truth. Your mind is like a garden. Every day, thoughts, both positive and negative, are like seeds planted in that garden. Some grow into beautiful flowers, others into troublesome weeds. The mind naturally gravitates toward negativity, as if weeds were easier to grow than flowers. But mindfulness, my friend, is the gardener's tool. It helps you notice the weeds before they spread too far, allowing you to remove them before they take over. In our busy lives, we are often so caught up in what's happening around us that we forget to be present in the moment. We rush from one task to another, constantly thinking about the past or worrying about the future. This is where negativity begins to seep in. It's as if we are walking through the garden with our eyes closed, unaware of the weeds sprouting around us. But mindfulness, when practiced regularly, opens your eyes and allows you to see clearly. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention, on purpose, to what is happening in the present moment, without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts, emotions, and actions with awareness. Imagine sitting quietly, observing your thoughts as they come and go, like clouds drifting in the sky. Some clouds may seem dark and heavy, filled with worry or anger. Others may be light and fluffy, filled with peace and joy. But you do not attach yourself to any of them. You simply observe them and let them pass. In the Buddhist tradition, mindfulness is not just about sitting in meditation for a few minutes each day. It's about bringing awareness to every moment, in every part of your life. Whether you're eating, walking, working, or simply breathing, mindfulness allows you to be present. It helps you recognize when negativity arises, giving you the opportunity to gently let it go, just like a leaf floating on a stream. Now, let's take a deeper look at how mindfulness can help cleanse your mind of negative energy. First, mindfulness helps you notice when negative thoughts arise. Without this awareness, you might get swept away by your thoughts, believing them to be the truth. But with mindfulness, you can step back and observe the thought without judgment. You see it for what it is, a passing mental event, not a permanent reality. When a negative thought enters your mind, mindfulness gives you the space to question it. Is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Many times, the answer will be no. The thought is simply a product of your mind, shaped by fear, insecurity, or past experiences. When you realize that your negative thoughts are not the truth, you can begin to let them go. You no longer need to hold on to them as if they define who you are. Second, mindfulness helps you detach from your thoughts and emotions. It allows you to see that you are not your thoughts, just as you are not the clouds in the sky. Your true nature is much deeper than your fleeting emotions and thoughts. By practicing mindfulness, you start to understand that your thoughts are like passing waves in the ocean. They rise and fall, but they do not define the entire ocean. You are the ocean, vast and unchanging, while your thoughts are just waves on its surface. This detachment is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about acknowledging them and then letting them go. It's about not allowing your emotions to control you, but rather allowing them to come and go freely. For example, when you feel anger rising, mindfulness helps you recognize it early on. Instead of letting it build and consume you, you can pause, breathe, and let the anger fade away. You don't have to act on every emotion that arises. Mindfulness gives you the power to choose your response, rather than reacting impulsively. Third, mindfulness teaches you to cultivate a state of acceptance. When you are mindful, you accept things as they are, without resistance. This acceptance is key to removing negativity. When we resist something, whether it's a difficult emotion, a challenging situation, or a thought that we don't like, we create inner tension. This tension feeds negativity, making it grow stronger. But when we accept things as they are, without judgment, we create space for peace and healing. For instance, if you are feeling anxious, mindfulness encourages you to simply acknowledge the anxiety. I am feeling anxious right now, you might say to yourself. There's no need to fight it or try to push it away. By accepting the anxiety, you remove its power over you. You stop feeding it with resistance, and in that space, the anxiety begins to dissolve. Acceptance does not mean you approve of the anxiety or want to keep it. It simply means you allow it to exist without struggling against it. Mindfulness also helps you recognize the impermanent nature of everything, including your thoughts and emotions. In Buddhism, we often talk about the concept of anicca, which means impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing, including your feelings and thoughts. Nothing lasts forever, not even negative energy. Mindfulness helps you realize that the difficult emotions you're feeling right now will not last forever. Just like the clouds in the sky, they will eventually pass. This understanding of impermanence is incredibly liberating. It allows you to let go of negative energy more easily because you know that it is temporary. When you are mindful, you begin to see that your negative thoughts are just like the weather. They may seem stormy at the moment, but they will eventually clear. This knowledge gives you a sense of peace, knowing that no matter how strong the negativity may feel, it is not permanent. Mindfulness also helps you shift your focus from the negative to the positive. By being present in the moment, you can notice the small things in life that bring you joy, like the warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of your food, or the sound of birds singing. These simple joys help to counterbalance the negativity in your mind, creating a space for positive energy to flow. Another key benefit of mindfulness is that it encourages self-compassion. When you are mindful, you treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Instead of criticizing yourself for having negative thoughts, you acknowledge them with compassion. You understand that it's natural to feel negative emotions sometimes, and you give yourself permission to feel them without judgment. This self-compassion helps you release guilt and shame, which often feed negativity. Through consistent practice, mindfulness helps you build a mental muscle for positive thinking. At first, it might seem difficult to notice your negative thoughts or emotions, but over time, as you practice mindfulness, you will become more aware of your inner landscape. You will be able to catch negative thoughts early on, before they spiral out of control. This awareness is the first step in transforming your mind. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness is not just about calming the mind. It's also about seeing things clearly. When you remove the cloud of negativity, you begin to see yourself and the world as they truly are. You see that your thoughts are just mental events, not absolute truths. You see that your emotions are temporary and changeable. You see that you have the power to choose how to respond to them. Mindfulness, when practiced with patience and consistency, can transform your mind from a place of chaos to a place of peace. It helps you become the master of your thoughts, rather than being a slave to them. And as you cultivate mindfulness, you will find that the negative energy that once seemed so powerful will no longer have the same hold on you. So, my friend, take a deep breath. Begin the practice of mindfulness today. Notice your thoughts. Observe your emotions. Allow them to come and go without attachment. In doing so, you will create a space within yourself where negativity cannot thrive. With each mindful moment, you will cultivate peace, clarity, and a deep sense of calm. And in this way, you will gradually cleanse your mind of the negative energy that has weighed you down for so long. The power of compassion to dispel darkness. Compassion is a light that can shine brightly, even in the darkest of times. In the vast ocean of thoughts that swirl in your mind, compassion acts as a gentle current, guiding your ship away from the dangerous rocks of negativity and towards the shore of peace. When negative energy surrounds you, whether from within or from the world around you, compassion can be the bridge that carries you across troubled waters. Many of us, when we feel hurt or angry, hold on to those feelings tightly. It's easy to believe that if we cling to our anger, it will somehow protect us. But the truth is, anger only breeds more anger. It clouds the mind, making it hard to think clearly or act kindly. Compassion, on the other hand, softens the heart. It allows you to see things not just with your eyes, but with your heart. It helps you understand that behind every action, there is a story, a reason, and a person struggling, just like you. Imagine this. You are walking down a busy street, and someone bumps into you. Your first instinct might be to feel irritated, to scold the person, or even to let your thoughts spiral into frustration. But then, you pause. You remember that everyone has their own burdens to carry. Maybe the person is rushing because they're late, or perhaps they are overwhelmed with their own struggles. Instead of reacting with irritation, you choose to feel compassion. You wish them well in your heart. "I hope you find peace," you silently say to them. In that moment, your mind is free. You've let go of the negative energy that could have easily clouded your day. Compassion isn't just about feeling kindness toward others, it's also about being kind to yourself. Often, we are our own harshest critics. We blame ourselves for mistakes, hold on to regrets, or punish ourselves for not being perfect. But this too is a form of negativity. Self-compassion allows us to accept our imperfections and to treat ourselves with the same kindness we offer to others. When we forgive ourselves, we create space for healing, and the negative energy that once trapped us begins to dissolve. The Buddha taught that compassion is one of the most powerful tools for transforming suffering. He understood that the world is full of pain, both for ourselves and for others, but rather than retreating from it, he encouraged us to embrace it with open hearts. Compassion doesn't mean ignoring suffering or pretending it doesn't exist. Instead, it's about recognizing the suffering, acknowledging its presence, and offering kindness as a remedy. In your daily life, you might encounter situations where negativity seems to be growing. Perhaps someone has hurt you, or maybe you feel frustration bubbling up inside. In these moments, you can choose to meet negativity with compassion. The next time someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of letting anger rise, try silently wishing them safety and peace. The next time someone is rude to you, take a moment to understand that they might be struggling with their own pain. Instead of meeting their negativity with your own, choose to respond with kindness. This shift in perspective not only helps you stay calm, but it also reduces the grip of negative energy on your mind. One of the most beautiful practices in Buddhism is metta, loving kindness. This practice involves sending out thoughts of love and compassion not only to those we care about, but to all beings, including those we find difficult. It starts with ourselves. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live in peace. Then, it extends outward. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live in peace. As you repeat this practice, you will begin to feel a transformation inside. The more you practice metta, the more you will notice that your heart becomes lighter. Negative emotions like anger, jealousy, or frustration lose their power over you, because you are replacing them with feelings of love and compassion. It's important to remember that compassion doesn't mean you have to tolerate harm or mistreatment. Compassion is not about being a doormat or allowing others to walk over you. It's about responding to situations with a calm and kind heart, even in the face of adversity. Compassion allows you to set healthy boundaries while still wishing others well. When you choose to respond with compassion, you no longer carry the burden of negativity. You free yourself from the weight of resentment and anger, and in doing so, you create space for peace to enter your life. The path of compassion requires patience, both with others and with yourself. It is easy to react with anger when we are hurt or upset, but when you practice compassion, you choose to take a step back before reacting. You pause, breathe, and connect with the deeper part of yourself that understands that everyone, including you, is simply trying to find happiness. It's not always easy, but it's in those moments of challenge that your practice of compassion becomes most powerful. Imagine if, instead of holding on to grudges, we chose to let them go, one by one. Imagine a world where, instead of feeding the cycle of negativity, we chose to respond with kindness, understanding, and compassion. The energy we carry within us can ripple out and touch the lives of those around us. By being compassionate, we not only transform our own minds, but we also create a more peaceful and harmonious world. When negative energy arises in your mind, you have the power to transform it. Compassion is the tool that allows you to shift your focus from what is wrong to what is right, from pain to healing. The next time you feel negativity creeping in, remember that you don't have to face it alone. You can face it with compassion, and in doing so, you will find the strength to let go of the darkness and allow the light to shine through. Compassion is a choice, and it's a choice you can make at any moment. Whether it's toward others or yourself, you have the ability to change the course of your thoughts and actions by choosing kindness over bitterness, understanding over judgment. The more you practice compassion, the more it becomes a natural part of who you are. Over time, it becomes the lens through which you see the world, a lens of love, peace, and joy. And with this new way of seeing, you will find that negativity no longer has the same hold over you. You are free, and in your freedom, you can spread compassion to others, creating a ripple of peace that can transform not just your mind, but the world around you. Overcoming attachment and aversions. The mind is like a river, constantly flowing. At times, it is calm and clear, but at other times, it is turbulent, full of debris. This turbulence often comes from our attachments and aversions. Attachment is when we hold on to things, people, or ideas so tightly that we cannot let go. Aversions are the opposite, where we resist or push away things we don't want to face. Both attachments and aversions keep us in a constant state of mental unrest. Imagine you are holding onto a rope. The tighter you hold, the more your hand aches, yet you cannot let go. That rope is your attachment. You are afraid that if you release it, something precious will slip away. But in reality, by holding on too tightly, you cause yourself pain. The same happens when we hold on to things, whether it's a relationship, a past experience, or even an idea of what we think our life should look like. In Buddhism, we are taught that attachment is a root cause of suffering. When we hold too tightly to things, We create an expectation that they will always remain, that they will never change. But change is inevitable. Everything is impermanent. People change, situations change, and even our own minds change. The moment we begin to accept the impermanence of all things, we start to loosen our grip and find peace. On the other hand, aversion is when we push things away. We may want to avoid certain emotions, certain people, or certain situations. When we resist, we create a battle in our mind. The more we fight, the stronger the negative energy becomes. It's like trying to avoid the rain by standing in it, hoping it will stop. But the more you resist, the wetter you become. True peace comes not from avoiding what we fear, but from accepting it and letting it flow through us. One way to practice letting go of attachments and aversions is through mindfulness. By simply becoming aware of our thoughts and emotions, we can observe how our mind reacts. When we feel attached to something, we can notice that attachment. Instead of holding on to it, we can gently let it go. Similarly, when we feel aversion to something, we can pause and observe the discomfort without reacting. Over time, this practice helps us detach from the need to control everything and instead find peace in the present moment. A simple practice to start with is to identify one thing you are attached to, whether it's a material possession, a person, or an idea. Take a moment to reflect on why you are so attached. What would happen if you let go of this attachment? Would the world fall apart? Most often, we find that the world continues to spin even if we release our hold. We may feel fear at first, but as we let go, we make space for something new to enter our lives. Similarly, when you notice an aversion to something, instead of running from it, stay with it. This doesn't mean you need to endure it forever, but rather that you allow yourself to feel the discomfort without trying to escape it. For example, if you have an aversion to a difficult conversation, take a deep breath and allow yourself to experience the anxiety without letting it control you. You may find that the more you face what you fear, the less power it has over you. The path of a peaceful mind is not one where we try to control everything around us. It is a path of acceptance, where we acknowledge that life is full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows. Instead of clinging to what we like and pushing away what we don't, we learn to let life flow as it is. This doesn't mean we stop caring about things or people. It simply means that we don't rely on them for our happiness. Our happiness comes from within, from a place of inner calm and acceptance. Buddha taught that the way to overcome attachment and aversion is through the practice of the middle way. The middle way is about finding balance, not swinging between extremes. We don't need to attach ourselves to everything, nor do we need to reject everything. Instead, we can learn to live in harmony with the present moment, accepting things as they are, without the need to hold on or push away. When we let go of our attachments and aversions, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of peace. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It comes from within, from a heart that is free of the need to control, judge, or resist. It's important to remember that letting go doesn't mean giving up on life. It doesn't mean becoming indifferent or detached from the world around us. It means that we release our need to possess or control, and instead, we become open to experiencing life fully, without fear or expectation. Letting go is a practice, not something that happens overnight. It requires patience and kindness toward yourself. Start with small steps. Notice your attachments and aversions without judgment. Recognize that these feelings are natural, but they don't have to control you. Over time, you will find that as you let go, you will feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. As you practice releasing attachment and aversion, you will begin to notice a shift in your mind. You will no longer be bound by your desires or fears. Instead, you will move through life with a sense of ease, knowing that you do not need to hold on to anything to feel whole. You are already complete, already at peace, in this very moment. The beauty of this practice is that it is available to you at all times. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment or for life to change. You can begin right now, in this very moment. So, take a deep breath, let go of what you don't need, and embrace the calm that comes from accepting life as it is. This is the path to true peace, the path of freedom from attachment and aversion. Practicing loving kindness, metta, for inner peace. Imagine a seed that lies dormant in the ground. waiting for the right conditions to grow. It is filled with the potential to become something beautiful, yet it cannot flourish until it receives the care and nourishment it needs. Loving kindness, or metta, is like the water and sunlight that help this seed grow within you. It nourishes your heart and mind, transforming them into a peaceful, joyful, and compassionate space. Loving kindness is not just a feeling. It is an active choice. It is the decision to treat yourself and others with care, warmth, and respect. It is the foundation of a peaceful mind. When practiced regularly, it becomes a natural part of who you are. It allows you to let go of anger, resentment, and negativity, like a cloud that lifts, leaving the sky clear and bright. But how do you practice metta? The first step is to cultivate kindness toward yourself. It may sound simple, but many of us are our own harshest critics. We speak to ourselves with words we would never say to a friend. We hold on to guilt, regret, and self-judgment. But true loving kindness begins when you soften your heart toward yourself. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and repeat these words: "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace." Say these words with a sincere wish for your own well-being. Feel the warmth and tenderness of these words as they spread through you. Next, extend this kindness to others. Start with those you care about. Visualize their faces and silently wish them well. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. As you do this, try not to expect anything in return. Just offer your kindness freely, without conditions. This is where the true power of metta lies. It is not about receiving, it is about giving. As you practice loving kindness toward those close to you, expand it to those you may not know as well: acquaintances, strangers, even people you may find difficult. The real challenge lies in offering loving kindness to those who have hurt you. It can be hard, even painful, to wish someone well when they have caused you harm. But when you can extend compassion to those who have wronged you, you release the grip of negativity they hold over your mind. Metta is a healing balm that soothes the wounds of the heart and helps you move past the pain. This practice of loving kindness is not limited to words or thoughts. It extends into your actions. Small gestures of kindness, holding the door for someone, smiling at a stranger, or offering help without expecting anything in return, are all ways to practice metta. These simple acts ripple outward, creating an environment of warmth and positivity. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you will find that kindness no longer feels like something you have to do. It becomes who you are. Loving kindness also invites you to let go of judgment. It encourages you to see people not for their flaws or mistakes, but for their shared humanity. When you look at someone with a kind heart, you begin to see them with new eyes. Eyes that see their struggles, their pain, and their potential for growth. You stop categorizing them as good or bad and simply recognize them as people, just like you. The beauty of metta is that it is limitless. There is no end to how far you can spread your love and kindness. You can begin by focusing on yourself, then extend it to those you love, those you don't know, and even those you find difficult. And as you do this, your heart opens, your mind becomes clearer, and your soul feels lighter. Negative energy, which once clouded your mind, begins to dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of peace and compassion. As you continue this practice, notice the changes within you. Do you feel less stressed? Do you feel more compassionate toward others? Do you find yourself letting go of past hurts more easily? These are the signs that metta is working its magic. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to face life's challenges with a calm and loving heart. And, as a result, you are more at peace with yourself and the world around you. In the Buddhist tradition, metta is seen as one of the most powerful tools for mental purification. It is a way of training the mind to be free from negative emotions such as hatred, jealousy, and anger. Just as you would care for a plant by watering it and ensuring it gets enough sunlight, you must care for your mind by nourishing it with kindness and compassion. Over time, you will see the transformation in your thoughts, your actions, and your relationships. But it's important to remember that metta is not something that happens overnight. It requires patience and consistency. Some days may be easier than others, and that's okay. The key is to keep practicing. Every time you offer kindness, whether it's to yourself or others, you are taking a step toward removing the negative energy that clouds your mind. One of the most profound aspects of metta is that it doesn't just bring peace to your mind. It also creates peace in the world. When you radiate kindness and compassion, you influence the people around you. You may not see it immediately, but your positive energy can touch others, creating a ripple effect that spreads far and wide. So, start small. Begin with yourself. Say those words of kindness to your heart and believe them. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. And as you grow in your practice, extend your loving kindness outward to those you care about, to those you don't know, and even to those who have hurt you. With each act of kindness, you remove a little more of the negative energy that once held you back. Remember, metta is not just a practice, it is a way of being. It is a constant reminder that we are all connected and that our thoughts, words, and actions have the power to shape our lives and the world. By practicing loving kindness, you are not only clearing the negativity from your own mind, but you are also helping to create a world where peace, compassion, and love can thrive. In the end, the path to inner peace and the removal of negative energy is not about striving for perfection. It is about consistency, patience, and the willingness to be kind to yourself and others, no matter what. With metta as your guide, you can transform your mind and your life, one act of kindness at a time, breaking the cycle of negative thought patterns. When the mind is caught in negative thought patterns, it feels like being trapped in a loop, an endless cycle. It's like a wheel turning and turning, but never getting anywhere. Have you ever noticed how certain thoughts seem to come back again and again? They could be worries about the future, regrets from the past, or fears about what others think. These thoughts seem to take control of the mind, don't they? But just like a wheel can stop spinning, so too can these thoughts be stopped, if we know how. In Buddhism, we learn that our thoughts are like clouds in the sky. Some clouds are dark, full of rain, while others are light and fluffy. But the sky itself, the space in which the clouds come and go, remains unchanged. Your mind is like the sky. The negative thoughts are like the dark clouds. They come and go, but they don't have to stay. What you must learn is to stop identifying with the clouds. Instead, recognize that they are not you. They are just passing by. The key to breaking this cycle of negative thoughts is awareness. It begins with noticing. Notice when you start to feel caught in a negative thought pattern. Maybe you're worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet, or feeling stuck in the past, replaying old mistakes. The moment you become aware of this, you've already begun to break the cycle. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Now, once you've noticed the thought, don't try to push it away. Don't try to control it. This is where most people get stuck. They try so hard to fight their thoughts, to make them go away. But the more you fight, the stronger they become. Imagine trying to stop a wave by pushing against it. The wave will only get bigger. Instead, accept the thought without judgment. Allow it to be there, and at the same time, remind yourself that it is just a thought. It does not define you. When you accept the thought, you create space for something else. In that space, you can plant a seed of positive thinking. This is where the true power lies. Instead of letting the negative thoughts control your mind, you can choose to replace them with thoughts that are more peaceful, more loving, more aligned with who you want to be. This is not about denying the negative thoughts, but about shifting your focus. Think of your mind like a garden. If you plant seeds of kindness, patience, and gratitude, those seeds will grow. But if you let the weeds of negativity take root, they will choke out the good plants. So, it's important to choose what to water and what to remove. When a negative thought arises, ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is this thought true? Is this thought kind? If the answer is no, gently let it go. Another powerful practice in Buddhism is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present, fully aware of the moment without judgment. When you're mindful, you are not lost in the past or the future. You are simply here, now, and when you are here, you see things as they truly are, without the cloud of negative thinking distorting your perception. Mindfulness helps you catch negative thoughts as they arise, so you can decide whether or not to engage with them. The more you practice mindfulness, the easier it becomes to break free from the endless cycle of negative thoughts. Sometimes, the mind becomes so accustomed to negativity that it feels like it's just who we are. We may think, "I am a negative person," or "this is how I've always been." But this is just a belief, not the truth. Your true nature is like a clear, still pond. Negative thoughts are like the mud at the bottom of the pond. When the water is disturbed, the mud rises, making the pond seem dirty. But when the water is calm, the mud settles and the water is clear again. Your mind is the same. By practicing awareness, acceptance, and mindfulness, you allow the mud to settle, and your true nature shines through. As you continue to practice, you will find that the cycle of negative thoughts weakens. At first, the thoughts may come and go quickly, like waves crashing on the shore. But as you become more skilled at recognizing them, the waves become smaller, more gentle. Over time, they may even disappear entirely. The more you practice, the more you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, the one who watches them come and go. But breaking the cycle of negative thought patterns is not something that happens overnight. It takes patience, practice, and compassion for yourself. Sometimes, you will fall back into the old patterns. That's okay. This is part of the process. Each time you notice a negative thought, you have the opportunity to start again. The key is to not be hard on yourself. Instead, treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer to a dear friend who is struggling. Gently remind yourself that you are learning and that progress is not always linear. One of the most powerful tools to help break the cycle of negative thoughts is meditation. Meditation is a practice of calming the mind and focusing on the present moment. Through meditation, you can create a space of stillness where negative thoughts have no place to grow. Start by simply sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, and observing the thoughts that arise. Don't try to change them, just notice them, like clouds passing by. Over time, you will learn to observe your thoughts without being swept away by them. Another powerful technique is the practice of loving kindness, or metta. This practice involves sending love and compassion to yourself and others. When you send love to yourself, you create a sense of peace and warmth in your heart. This makes it much harder for negative thoughts to take hold. When you send love to others, you open your heart and begin to see the world in a different way. You see that we are all connected and that everyone, including yourself, deserves peace and happiness. The more you practice these techniques, the more you will notice changes in your thoughts and in your life. The cycle of negativity will begin to break. You will start to feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. And most importantly, you will realize that you have the power to change your mind. You have the ability to choose which thoughts to entertain and which ones to let go. The negative thoughts that once ruled your mind no longer have the same power. You are no longer trapped in the cycle. Remember, breaking the cycle of negative thoughts is not about being perfect. It's about progress. It's about creating a new habit of awareness and acceptance, and gradually shifting your focus from negativity to positivity. With patience and practice, you will break free from the cycle and discover the peace that lies within you. Embracing impermanence to release negativity. The first thing a Zen master might tell you is this: everything changes. The mountains, the rivers, the trees, and even your thoughts, they all come and go. It's a simple truth, but it is one that many of us forget. We get attached to our feelings, our thoughts, and our situations, thinking they will last forever. But nothing lasts. Everything is impermanent. Imagine you're holding a leaf in your hand. It's green and vibrant, full of life. But one day, it will fall. The leaf will change color, turn brown, and eventually crumble away. This is the way of nature, and it is the way of life itself. The thoughts that fill your mind, the emotions you feel, these too are like that leaf. They come, they grow, and they fade away. So why do we hold on to negativity when we know it won't last? Why do we let our minds get trapped in the dark clouds of anger, fear, or sadness when we know these feelings are just passing through? It's because we forget that they are impermanent. When we attach ourselves to these negative feelings, we make them feel permanent. But in truth, they are like waves in the ocean, rising up and then fading away. A key part of Buddhist teaching is the understanding of impermanence, or anicca. This doesn't just apply to physical things like trees or the weather. It also applies to our inner world, the thoughts, feelings, and experiences that come and go. When we realize that everything is fleeting, we can begin to let go. we can stop clinging to the past and worrying about the future. We can simply be present in the moment, accepting that the negative thoughts and emotions we feel will eventually pass. When negativity comes into your mind, recognize it for what it is, a momentary experience. Just like the leaf falls from the tree, your negative thoughts will pass if you allow them to. The more you try to hold on to them, the more power you give them. But if you simply observe them without judgment, without attachment, they will fade away. Just like the wind carrying the leaf away. Think of your mind as a clear, calm lake. When a stone is thrown into the lake, ripples form on the surface. These ripples are like negative thoughts or emotions. At first, they seem large and disruptive. But if you remain still and allow the ripples to settle, the lake becomes calm once again. The same is true for your mind. When negativity arises, you don't need to fight it. Just allow it to pass, knowing that soon the calm will return. This is why it's so important to understand impermanence. It teaches you that nothing lasts forever, especially not your negative thoughts or emotions. You don't need to hold on to them or let them define you. They are just passing moments, like clouds drifting across the sky. When you remember this, you can let go of the negativity that clouds your mind and embrace the peace that is always present beneath the surface. But how do you actually practice this? The first step is awareness. When negativity arises, notice it without judgment. Simply observe it as you would observe a cloud passing by in the sky. You don't need to push it away or hold on to it. Just watch it come and go. Recognize that it is impermanent and that it has no lasting power over you. Another important practice is mindfulness. When you are mindful, you are fully present in the moment. You are not caught up in the past or the future. You are simply here, right now, with whatever is happening. This is particularly helpful when negativity arises. Instead of getting lost in your thoughts or emotions, you stay grounded in the present. You observe your feelings without getting swept away by them. Over time, this practice of mindfulness helps you let go of negative energy more easily. It's also important to remember that impermanence is not something to fear. Many people fear change because they are attached to the way things are. But when you understand that everything is constantly changing, you can embrace the flow of life. You can let go of the need to control or hold on to things. You can allow yourself to flow with the changes, knowing that nothing is permanent, not even your suffering. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called dukkha, which refers to suffering or dissatisfaction. This suffering arises from our attachments, our desire to hold on to things, people, or even our own identities. But when we recognize the impermanent nature of all things, we can release these attachments. We stop clinging to what we think should be and accept what is. This brings peace, because we are no longer trying to control the uncontrollable. We are simply living in harmony with the flow of life. The more you practice this understanding of impermanence, the more you will notice how your negative thoughts and emotions lose their grip on you. They may still arise, but they will no longer define you. You will recognize them for what they are, temporary, passing experiences. You will no longer get caught up in them because you know that they will fade away. Embracing impermanence also means embracing the changes within yourself. You are not the same person you were yesterday, and you won't be the same person tomorrow. Every moment is an opportunity for growth and transformation. When you let go of negative energy, you create space for new, positive energy to flow in. You allow yourself to evolve, to become the person you are meant to be. This is the beauty of impermanence. It is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It is the key to releasing negative energy and finding peace within yourself. When you remember that everything changes, you can let go of the things that no longer serve you. You can release the negativity that holds you back and allow yourself to be free. So the next time negativity arises in your mind, remember the leaf, the lake, the sky. Remember that it is just a passing moment, like everything else. Let it go and allow yourself to return to your true, peaceful nature. When you do this, you will find that the clouds of negativity have cleared and the light of peace and clarity can shine through once again. This is the wisdom of impermanence. Embrace it, and you will find that negativity no longer has the power to control your mind. You will be free to experience the peace and calm that is always within you, waiting to be discovered. Harnessing the energy of gratitude and contentment. Gratitude, contentment, These two words, so simple yet powerful, hold the key to transforming your mind. But do you truly understand what they mean beyond the surface? In the chaos of life, it's easy to forget their importance. We often focus on what we don't have, what we want, and what we think is missing. Yet, the true path to removing negative energy from the mind begins with the recognition of what is already here, what is already good, already enough. Take a moment. Close your eyes and think of one thing you're grateful for, something small or large, but real. It could be the warmth of the sun, the sound of a loved one's voice, or the simple comfort of a quiet morning. In this moment, you have everything you need to experience peace. You do not need to seek external validation or material wealth to feel fulfilled. Contentment comes not from what we acquire, but from accepting and appreciating what we already have. Gratitude has a transformative power, like a gentle wave washing away the sand of negativity. When we are grateful, we shift our focus from what is wrong to what is right. In doing so, we invite more goodness into our lives. It's a paradox. The more we acknowledge what we already have, the more we open ourselves to receiving. This simple shift in perspective can dissolve the mental clutter, the noise that feeds negativity, and make room for peace and positivity to enter. But here's the trick. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It's a practice. It's a choice, made in each moment. It is not enough to simply feel thankful when things are going well. True gratitude comes when you choose to see the good, even in times of hardship. It's about shifting your attention from what you lack to what you possess. When the mind is clouded with negativity, gratitude is the light that cuts through the fog. This is why Buddhism places such importance on gratitude. The Buddha taught that everything we have is a gift: our lives, our bodies, our friends, and our opportunities. The more we practice gratitude, the more we align ourselves with the flow of life itself. When we are grateful, we are in harmony with the present moment, and we stop fighting against the natural order of things. We stop resisting. We accept life as it is, and in doing so, we release the negative energy that comes from grasping, craving, and wanting more than what we already have. Now, what does contentment have to do with all of this? Contentment is the peaceful acceptance of where we are right now, without the constant need to change or seek something better. It's about finding peace with what is, rather than always chasing after what could be. Contentment is not laziness. It's a quiet inner strength that comes from the deep knowing that you are enough, just as you are. It's the understanding that happiness does not lie in the future, in some distant goal or achievement, but in the present moment. In our modern world, where we are constantly bombarded with messages of more, contentment can seem like a foreign concept. We are told that we need to do more, have more, be more. But in the eyes of the Buddha, true wealth is found in the heart, not in possessions. Contentment is the treasure that resides within each of us, waiting to be uncovered. Imagine, just for a moment, if you could be content with everything you already have. What if, instead of longing for something different, you simply appreciated the life you are living right now? What if, in every moment, you could find joy in the small things? The way the breeze feels on your face, the taste of a meal, the laughter of a friend. This is the essence of contentment. When you cultivate it, you begin to see that there is no need to chase after more. Everything you need is already here, in this moment. You see, negativity thrives on the mind's hunger. It feeds on the belief that we are not enough, that we are missing something. But when we practice gratitude and contentment, we begin to starve the negative energy. We stop giving it power. We begin to realize that we are whole, just as we are. In this realization, negativity has no place. It simply dissolves. Gratitude and contentment also bring a profound sense of peace. When we are grateful, we are no longer fighting against life. We are accepting in full awareness that this moment is all we truly have. There is nothing to prove. There is no need to chase after the past or the future. Everything unfolds as it should, and we are free to simply be. The practice of gratitude doesn't need to be complicated. It can start with something as simple as waking up each morning and acknowledging the gift of a new day. I am grateful for this breath, for this body, for this moment, you might say to yourself. Throughout the day, pause and reflect on the small blessings that often go unnoticed. It's easy to overlook the beauty in our lives when we are rushing from one task to the next. But when we slow down, when we take time to truly appreciate what we have, we create space for positive energy to flow. Contentment, too, can begin with small steps. It might mean learning to let go of the need to be somewhere else, to be someone else, to have something else. It might mean embracing the simplicity of the present moment with all its imperfections. Contentment is not about perfection, it's about acceptance. It's about saying, "This is enough." In doing so, we free ourselves from the trap of constant striving and begin to experience the deep joy of simply being. As you move forward, try to notice when negativity arises in your mind. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for in this moment? Even in the midst of challenges, this simple question can help shift your mindset. And when you find yourself feeling restless or unsatisfied, pause and remember. Contentment is not something to chase, it is something to cultivate. It's already here, waiting for you to acknowledge it. The beauty of gratitude and contentment is that they are always available to us. They are not dependent on external circumstances. No matter what is happening around you, you can choose to be grateful for what you have and content with where you are. And in doing so, you begin to dissolve the negative energy that clings to your mind, replacing it with peace, clarity, and joy. By practicing gratitude and contentment, you are not only transforming your mind, but also your life. These practices lead to greater happiness, a deeper sense of inner peace, and a mind free from the clutter of negativity. They allow you to live with more grace, to appreciate the present moment, and to find joy in the simplest of things. The more you cultivate these qualities, the more you align yourself with the natural flow of life. So, take a deep breath, acknowledge the good in your life, and let go of the need for anything more. In this moment, everything is perfect just as it is. This is the power of gratitude and contentment. They are the keys to unlocking a life of peace, happiness, and freedom from negativity, transforming negative energy into positive growth. The mind is a field, and your thoughts are like seeds. Some seeds bloom into beautiful flowers, while others grow into weeds. These weeds, the negative thoughts, can spread quickly and take over your peace if left unchecked. But just as a gardener carefully removes the weeds to allow the flowers to thrive, you too can clear away the negative energy from your mind to make space for growth and positivity. In life, challenges are inevitable. The Buddhist teachings tell us that suffering is a part of existence, yet it does not define us. How we respond to challenges determines the course of our lives. Negative energy can arise from pain, fear, resentment, or simply from holding on to the past. It is in these moments that we can choose to transform the negativity, turning it into something that nurtures us rather than drains us. This process of transformation begins with awareness. When you notice negative thoughts arising, do not judge them. Instead, observe them with curiosity. Like a cloud drifting in the sky, negative energy is temporary and will pass. The key is not to allow it to anchor itself in your mind. Just as the sky does not resist the clouds, you too can let the negativity come and go without clinging to it. Awareness allows you to create a space between the thought and your reaction. In this space, you can choose to respond with wisdom and compassion. Let us remember the principle of impermanence, the fact that everything changes. Negative energy, no matter how overwhelming it feels, is impermanent. It may seem like it's taking over, but like all things, it will pass. The storm of negative emotions will eventually clear, leaving room for the sun of peace and joy to shine again. By understanding that all feelings, whether positive or negative, are temporary, you can approach life with more ease. When you embrace the impermanence of negative energy, you stop fearing it. You begin to see it as part of the flow of life, not something that has control over you. Another way to transform negative energy is by practicing gratitude. Often, when we are consumed by negative thoughts, we forget the countless blessings in our lives. Shifting our focus toward gratitude is like changing the lens through which we see the world. Even in difficult times, there are always things to be grateful for. Whether it's a kind word from a friend, the warmth of the sun, or simply the breath that keeps us alive. When you start cultivating gratitude, you create a counterbalance to negativity. The more you focus on the good, the less power the negative has over you. Compassion is also a powerful tool in transforming negative energy. When you feel negative emotions rising, turn your attention toward compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. Negative energy often stems from feelings of guilt, shame, or self-criticism. By offering yourself compassion in those moments, you begin to heal. Recognize that you, too, deserve love and kindness, especially in your most difficult moments. Treat yourself as you would treat a friend who is struggling, gently, with understanding, and without judgment. When you offer compassion to yourself, the negative energy begins to dissolve, and you create space for inner peace. Another practice that transforms negativity is the power of silence. In a world that is constantly busy and noisy, silence has a healing quality. It is in silence that the mind finds rest, and in that rest, negative thoughts lose their grip. Try to find moments of stillness each day, whether through meditation, nature walks, or simply sitting quietly. In the silence, you reconnect with your true self, free from the clutter of negative energy. The more you practice silence, the more you strengthen your ability to stay calm and centered, even in the midst of chaos. Forgiveness is yet another key to transforming negative energy. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy burden. It weighs you down, consumes your energy, and keeps you stuck in the past. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather releasing the grip that anger and hurt have over you. When you forgive, you set yourself free. You allow space for healing and transformation. The act of forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not the other person. It's a way to free your heart from the chains of negativity and create room for love and peace. As you continue on this journey of transformation, it's important to remember that change takes time. Just as a tree grows slowly from a small seed, your growth into a more peaceful and positive person is a gradual process. There may be setbacks, and there will be times when negative energy tries to return. But with patience and persistence, you will begin to see the fruits of your efforts. Over time, you will notice that you are less affected by negativity, more at peace with yourself, and more resilient in the face of challenges. Buddhism teaches us that our minds are like a mirror. A mirror reflects whatever is placed before it, whether it's clear or cloudy. When negative thoughts arise, they are like dust on the mirror. The more you practice mindfulness, gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness, the more you cleanse the mirror of your mind. Gradually, the dust of negativity is wiped away, and you begin to see the world with greater clarity and compassion. It is also essential to surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environments you place yourself in all influence your mental state. Seek out positive influences that inspire you, uplift you, and help you grow. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, reading uplifting books, or listening to soothing music, these positive influences will help reinforce your transformation. In the end, the transformation of negative energy into positive growth is not about eliminating negativity altogether. It's about learning to live with it in a way that doesn't overwhelm or define you. Negative energy will always be a part of life, but it does not have to control you. By practicing mindfulness, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, and silence, you begin to transform that energy into a source of strength and growth. As you walk this path, remember that you are not alone. The wisdom of Buddhism is a timeless guide that has helped millions of people overcome suffering and live with peace. By embracing these teachings and integrating them into your life, you will find that you can transform any negative energy into a force for positive change. This is the power of your mind. When you choose to clear away the negativity, you create the space for something much greater to grow. So, as you continue on your journey, remember, you have the power to transform your thoughts, your energy, and your life. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep growing. The transformation of negative energy into positive growth is not just a possibility. It is your birthright. It is the path of inner peace, and it begins with you.